Every habit you've ever failed to build was a symptom, not the disease. You were told to focus on willpower, on tracking streaks, on buying the right gear. All of it was a distraction. There are two camps in the war for self-improvement. One builds machines, the other builds gods. Both are fighting the wrong battle. Where do you stand? By the end of this, you'll see the cage you've been building around yourself. The first camp offers a seductively simple promise. The promise of systems, the argument is that you are a product of your environment. Your decisions are shaped by friction and convenience. Willpower is a fickle and exhausted resource, a terrible foundation for change. So, you must become an architect of your own world. You want to read more? You put a book on your pillow, the one object you must interact with before sleep. You want to stop eating junk food, you purge your kitchen, every cabinet, every drawer. The only way to eat a cookie is to drive to the store. You've just made laziness your ally. This is the engineering approach to self-development. It treats behavior change like a physics problem. You increase the activation energy for bad habits and decrease it for good ones. You make the desired path a gentle downhill slope. The unwanted path becomes a treacherous uphill climb. For a while, this feels like a miracle. You are finally doing the things you said you would do. You are losing weight, reading books, saving money. The system works. It's clean, logical, and it produces results for a time. But there's a problem with treating yourself like a cog in a machine you designed. What happens when the machine breaks? You go on vacation, you get sick, a crisis hits at work. Your perfectly calibrated environment, your fortress of good intentions, is suddenly gone. There is no book on the hotel pillow. Your parents' kitchen is filled with the food of your childhood. The gym is a 20-minute drive away in a strange city. And the habits? They vanish. Almost instantly, you revert to your baseline self with shocking speed. The system was a crutch, and now it's gone. The failure reveals a critical flaw in the purely mechanical approach. It outsources your discipline to your surroundings. When those surroundings change, you are left with nothing but the old, familiar patterns. The engineering solution works perfectly until it has to interact with the messy reality of being human. And yet, the alternative of simply deciding to be better is a known recipe for failure. The other side has its own dangerous blind spot. This second camp dismisses environmental tweaks as superficial. They argue the real battle is internal. It's about identity. Lasting change, they claim, happens when you stop trying to do a habit and start being the person who embodies it. You don't just go for a run, you become a runner. You don't just write a page, you are a writer. Every action is a vote cast for the kind of person you want to become. I am a healthy person. I am a reader. I am financially responsible. This identity becomes a powerful gravitational force, pulling your behaviors into alignment. A person who identifies as a runner finds a way to run, in the rain, on a business trip, when they feel tired. The identity is the prime mover. The environment becomes a secondary concern. This is the promise of deep, authentic, resilient change. It's a transformation that survives chaos because it's rooted in your core self-concept. You carry it with you. The behavior flows from who you are rather than being a strained performance you have to maintain. It sounds profound. It feels like the ultimate truth of self-mastery. But there's a crippling paradox at its heart. How do you become a runner when you haven't run in a year? Just saying the words, "I am a runner," while sitting on the couch feels hollow. It feels like a lie. This is the identity trap. A brutal catch-22. You need evidence to believe in your identity, but you feel you need the identity before you can take the actions that produce the evidence. It's like trying to get a loan without a credit history. The bank wants to see you've handled money before. You need the money to prove you can handle it. This is where most people quit. The chasm between their current self and their desired identity seems too vast to cross. Fake it till you make it only works if the faking produces results. For many, it just produces a deeper sense of being an imposter. The pressure to live up to a self-proclaimed identity can be crushing. It can make taking that first clumsy step even harder. So one side builds a fragile machine that breaks under pressure. The other asks for a leap of faith across a canyon of self-doubt. It seems like an impossible choice. But the real 80/20ths of habit formation lives in the space between these two philosophies. The leverage point is using one to fuel the other. The secret is the feedback loop. You use brutally simple, almost insultingly easy systems for one purpose only: to generate a single piece of evidence, a single vote. You don't commit to becoming a writer, you commit to a system of opening a document and writing one sentence. Just one. That's the system. It has an activation energy of almost zero. The moment you write that sentence, something crucial happens. You have a microscopic piece of evidence. You can now tell yourself a slightly different story. The story is true. It's based on empirical data. That tiny reinforced identity makes it infinitesimally easier to write a sentence tomorrow. The system produces the action provides the evidence builds the identity in turn lowers the friction for the next action. This is the flywheel. You aren't faking it until you make it. You are building it until you are it, brick by brick, one sentence, one page, one push-up at a time. The goal is simply to have written, to have read, to have moved. The feeling comes later. Action precedes belief. This flywheel, this engine of identity creation, is the most powerful tool for personal change available. It combines the mechanical pragmatism of systems with the deep psychological power of identity. But even this engine can be stopped. One force is strong enough to grind it to a halt. One variable that most habit advice conveniently ignores: social gravity. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Their expectations, their habits, their casual comments all exert a constant, powerful pull on your own identity. When you start to change, you are pulling away from that shared center of gravity, and the group will often pull you back. Imagine you start eating healthy. Your family continues to stock the pantry with chips and ice cream. Your friends want to go out for pizza and beer, like you always have. They might make jokes. "Oh, look at Mr. Health over here with his salad." Each comment, each act of offering you the old food is a vote against your new identity. You are fighting not just your own old habits, but the collective habit of your social circle. They have an identity for you too, and your new behaviors threaten it. To become a runner when your friend's favorite activity is a movie marathon is an act of social defiance. The friction is immense. This is the hidden cost of change. Building new habits sometimes means building a new life, and a new life may not have room for the same old people. This creates a brutal, often unspoken choice. The most significant barrier to your new habit might be your spouse, your best friend. Your parents, their love for you is often tied to the version of you they already know. Your transformation can feel like a rejection of them, of the life you shared. Keeping the habit may require drawing boundaries, having difficult conversations, or even creating distance. The success of your personal flywheel depends heavily on the social landscape it operates in. Is the ground smooth, or is it a field of mud? So what is the real 80-20 of building a habit? It's understanding that systems are for generating evidence. That evidence is for building identity, and that identity is either supported or sabotaged by the people around you. You can have the best system in the world. You can build the most inspiring identity. But if you have to fight a war on 2 fronts, against your own past self and against your present social circle, your chances of success plummet. The most effective change agents instinctively understand this. They change their environment, yes, but they also change their inputs. They curate their social feeds. They change who they eat lunch with. They join groups of people who are already living the habits they want to adopt. They make the desired identity the price of admission to the group. So what do you think? Where do you draw the line? Is becoming the person you want to be worth outgrowing the people you're with? Or is the cost of social friction too high a price to pay for a new habit?